His jobs is just amazing. If you ever hear the story of all the things that he's done, it's incredible, and he's very successful. During a time when I was now graduating from high school, I was going into college, stayed right here across from Doheny. My folks had a mobile home here that me and my buddy lived in. We went to Saddleback College up here to just a great life. And but Larry at that time was back in Chicago. Hickory Hills, Illinois is where he was. He came back during the year for a vacation, I think about a week, and while he was here, he bought a brand new Hobie surfboard so that he could ride it while he was here, and he did, a couple of times out and what have you. And then he left it on the back porch of the mobile home there. Yeah, you already know this. Anyway, I see the board out there, and I'm thinking, that poor board, like it needs a little exercise somewhere in here. So I decided I'd take it out for a little exercise across the street, and I drove over to Doheny and went out. Actually, the board and I had a great time. Things didn't go sour until I started back to the car. And in those days, you used to put your keys underneath on the wheel well of because you couldn't carry them with you and have you. Anyway, yeah, he probably still does that. But I put the board on the racks on top of my VW. I went to grab the keys from there, and off the car goes the board. It goes down the curb and then down the rocks and into the water. So I'm thinking, oh, this can't be good. So I go down, I get it. It isn't very good, and I take it back home and I put it safely back in the place that I found it, hoping that
you won't notice.
Yeah, well, kind of hoping it would heal itself, but it didn't. And next time Larry and Lorna came back, I can tell you, Lorna was mad. She was, how could you do that to your brother? And you know what? I mean, she was right. It's true. Very good. But the moral of this story is that my brother showed me grace and forgiveness. And you know what? He never made a big deal out of anything with me, really. Yeah, it was just taken in stride. And you know what? That's the way my brother was. I just want to touch on a few things, his talents and abilities. He had an 8mm camera. You guys remember those? I don't even know if it had a battery, but you wind it up, and it gives you about 30 seconds maybe of shoot time on it. And Larry would do pictures of surfing. Our crew, he would do all those, and he would come home and splice and put them on, then put it all together, and he would show movies to us, the guys that went surfing, of us all surfing and him doing it. It was awesome. I mean, it was really good. In fact, we did it right where Bruce Brown, who 9 years later came out with Endless Summer, he lived right above where we were always recording all these things. I don't know if he had any influence on him, but maybe he did. But anyway, it got rough. It got kind of hard because, when you go with a bunch of guys surfing, somebody's got to do the camera, and nobody really wants to do it because, yeah, we're surfing, like, oh, no thanks, we'll do that. But
Bring mom to film.
wow, your boyfriend is a surfer. Well, you would think that that would be a really cool thing. It sounds like Waikiki Beach in the sunshine with, oh, everything's going to be so beautiful. No, we leave at 4:30 in the morning. We drive for 2 hours. You arrive at a beach that doesn't even have any sand on it. There's seaweed, there's flies, it's cold, it's miserable, it's every month of the year. So Lorna took on, this is love, Lorna took on the responsibility to go with us, and almost all the recorded things that you see that they did with this 8mm camera was actually done by Lorna. Some of it by Larry, but a lot by Lorna. And so, I mean, we had footage after footage after footage that he recorded of different surf trips and things. In fact, most all of it is on YouTube. I mean, if you just Google Lorna Collins or something like that on there, you can find all these old tapes that were done. They were on, that were projectors, and then it was transferred over to CDs and then taken from there to YouTube. But Lorna did a terrific job. Probably better than we could have ever done doing it. And even today, I ran across this YouTube video. It was good. What happened to Killer Dana? That it's a documentary. Yeah, it's a documentary about the place we used to surf before they put the marina in and destroyed it. And if you look at this thing, and they're talking about the marina and all this, all the footage is Larry's footage of him and us as kids, and it's really, if you ever Google that, it's really pretty cool because. And I asked him about it. I said, hey, did you know that we're on the thing for that? And she says, oh, yeah. Yeah, a number of people have contacted her to ask permission to use that old footage for it. So, well done. Really well done. That is it. Music, you already know that, Lorna taught herself how to play the piano. Larry taught himself how to play the guitar and every other stringed instrument that there is, I think. Yeah. And Kimberly sang beautifully. I mean, they sang at our wedding. They sang at a lot of people's weddings that you did. And that it's just the talent that they have musically as a family is beautiful. It's so great to have somebody. Lucy and I, we don't have any talent towards that at all for that, but it's great to have him.
We have Lorna.
And we have Lorna. And then his art. Behind me here is a picture that he gave to me along the way. And Larry has, maybe you've seen art that he does of ocean pictures that are really cool. He does it with dots and all these things. It's so unique and beautiful. But this one he gave to me, and it's from his imagination of what he thought the city was in the book The Hobbit. Lord of the Rings, that's right. Lord of the Rings. And you know how much he loves to read. That's why I always did good in school. And but he can translate that into other talents that he's got. So take it, if you get a moment, we'll put it up here so you can come up and look at it. And then of course, a writing career, and that came later. I mean, late. I don't know how many books they've written now. It's 38 books. Okay. That's a lot of books. And he writes, the 31 Months in Japan was the one that started the whole process, and it's a great book, but he wrote science fiction, he wrote mysteries, he wrote all kinds of things, and it's, I'm not much of a reader, but I know I've read some of his, and they're good. He's very talented at it. The McGregor Chronicles is his. He got 9 books of that, which is a science fiction space adventure. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you know, I have to say though that Lorna, you know, she was the support and the encouragement. Larry would have never done all the things that he ended up doing if it wasn't for Lorna. The two are just a match. They just encourage each other and push each other. It's really beautiful. And then there's one other trait, the greatest trait that this man has is far beyond all the others that he has, and that is kindness. There's never a person I've ever run into that is as kind as Larry is. And as we know, and as we say, kindness always wins, because it is a great attribute to have, it is a great talent to have, it is a great gift to have. And thank you. Happy birthday, 80th birthday.
That's my brother. I used to tell him he was the brother I was keeping, because he is just as wonderful as his brother. Different ways, they're very different, but they're both really wonderful men. Robert, would you like to close us here with a few comments? Bob is Larry's best friend, surfing buddy. We've traveled together all over the world with them, and yeah, we love him a lot.
I want to thank you guys for letting us see our good friend better. You know, the older you get, the more your good friends count. I just want to share a couple of words. Quiet. Larry's very quiet until you go out surfing, and then you find him in the middle of a big pod talking. Humor. I don't know if I've ever been with somebody I've laughed more with. And every time we go someplace or do anything, it's always funny. I think it's his fault, but smart. I don't know if there's any subject I've ever talked to Larry about that he didn't know something really important about that I didn't know. And he was willing to share it with me in a kind way. Electric. Everything's electric with Larry. I mean, his education, his house, his Tesla, his elevator, everything is electric, except for Lorna and Kim. They're a different kind of power. Loyal and friend. Committed husband. Loving father. Really good friend. Good friend. Always helpful. I observed him with a friend that they had with Lynn Rue, who was a Vietnam veteran, shot in the head, had all kinds of problems, and Larry was so patient and so kind. I just saw Christ in him more than I could say. He was truly, for me anyway, a lifesaver. There are several times when we went out on a big day, 3 forward, 2 back, finally got out, on a wave, coming down, leash breaks, board gone, and I'm a lousy swimmer. And Larry was there. literally saved my life. Faithful believer. He has a cosmic vision. He writes about it, I think he thinks about it, I think he is kind of cosmic in his vision of life. He knows that Jesus' heavenly Father is cosmic. A greater love than we will ever know or experience, and I've seen a lot of it in him. And I'm so thankful that he's my friend. Lorna, you wanted to do it?
They're gonna postpone the toast,
Got it.
but they're going to serve the cake first.
All right, let's have cake. All right?
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Lord.